What's going on, y'all? This is part two of marketing and branding. Yesterday, I started off this training just kind of going over what marketing and branding were, my opinion on what they are, and how to better market and brand yourself, how to get those conversations, how to look like an expert. Because I believe if you have a front facing business, either a personal brand that you're trying to build up, you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're something of that nature, you're a speaker, you have to be an expert now. You have to be an expert, you have to be a thought leader. So, yesterday we talked about some things. I'll review some of those things. But also, I want to today end it. In the free training, I'm going to be doing some more free trainings as it relates to marketing and branding, as we're creating this new expert incubator type thing that I'm going to be showing off to you all. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. For those of you that are listening to our podcast, or you happen to be watching this live, maybe you're on Instagram or something like that, you won't be able to see the screen, but I will walk you through it. Just a couple of reviews that I want to go over. The three things that you have to have, and these are really the only three things that you need to worry about once you figure out what you're selling and who you're selling it to, is having more conversations with qualified leads. There's so much stuff out here. You could get a TED talk, you could pay somebody to run your ads, you could pay somebody to do this, you could become a professional speaker. There's all these different things. But if you just focus on having conversations with more qualified leads, that's going to help you. Also, raising your status in the eyes of those leads, and then separating yourself from the transaction. So, marketing, as we defined it yesterday, I'm just doing a quick review before I go into the last part. Marketing is the exercise of continually showing people that could pay you why they should pay you. It's the exercise continually, dramatic demonstrations, content demonstrations, like what I'm doing right now, continually showing people why they should pay you. Branding is the exercise of continually elevating your positioning in the eyes of people that can pay you. So, marketing is, hey, look at this thing that I'm doing that could help you, that could solve a problem for you, and you're educating and you're explaining. Branding is when people just look and say, ooh, that's pretty, that's nice. People that do things at that level are expensive or are cheap, or whatever you want your brand to show them. So continually doing that. And you can do both of them at the same time with the fourth wall content we talked about yesterday. Fourth wall content, remember, is that interview content. It's where you're not looking at the camera, you're looking off of the camera, and somebody is watching you do your thing. Fourth wall content is the supremely positioned content because it models the TV experience. It models the way human beings deeply communicate with one another, and it makes you an expert the fastest. So, all of that we went over yesterday. Remember, if you want the document, all you have to do is comment below this video if you're watching this live, or if you're watching the recording, you can comment below. If you're listening to this on our podcast, then make sure you just shoot us a DM or reach out and let us know. So, how do you get this type of content that positions you? Well, one, you can get interviewed on local or national media. The caveat there is that it's hard and it takes time. If you get interviewed on national media, this is probably the most important thing that I need you to understand. When you get interviewed on a national or even a local platform, you have little to no control over that intellectual property. So when a network brings you into their studio and they record you on their cameras, you may or may not get that content. So if somebody didn't see you live, I mean, you could put a logo on your website, but it's not going to help that much. And it takes a long time to get the footage. It takes a long time to get booked. You could get interviewed on a high quality podcast, on video podcast. It's not as hard, but a lot of research is necessary. So a lot of time has to go into that. You can start your own podcast. which is not really that hard, but it's still time consuming. You have to buy your own equipment. You have to create a theme and get people to interview and find them and create content for a singular show. There's a lot that you have to do there. Or you could just pay me and my team to do it. You pay me and my team to do it, within a week or two, you'll have your content and all of that. So that's the easiest way. The easiest way is to pay me or my team to do it. But if for some reason you don't, I want to give you the breakdown of how you monetize that content, how you get that content together. So create a concept or theme for your podcast to interview people that want to pay you. People that teach podcasting don't go super, super deep into this. Most people that teach podcasts, they teach you how to, hey, you can sell your course from a podcast. You can, no. Remember, the three things we got to worry about are having more conversations with qualified leads, making sure that we're elevating our positioning in the eyes of those leads. You know what I mean? And then just making sure that we follow up. That's all we got to worry about. So when you create a podcast with an interview component, you're already doing 2 out of 3 of those things. So you're shortcutting it. So if you know you want to get a paid speaking engagement in February, as of this recording, I'm recording this in late September. If you know you want a speaking engagement in February, what you need to do is start interviewing people right now about stuff that's connected to their job that's going on in February. Right now. So then you're starting the conversation. You're having a conversation. When you do an interview podcast, it's basically like a pre-sales call. But you create the concept, you create the thing. You make a short video explaining the concept, because as of right now, you don't have any episodes, you don't have anything. So you make a short video. Hi, my name is Odell Bazell, and I am the founder of the Undeniable Expert Podcast, where we interview experts on how they do their job and how they help people so that customers and clients don't get scammed. If you want to be on the Undeniable Podcast, the Undeniable Expert Podcast, all you have to do is fill out the form below and we will interview you. When we interview you, we're going to post it on LinkedIn. We're going to do this. We're going to do that to make you look like the undeniable expert that you are. Go ahead, click the button below and see some of the cool things that we've been able to do. Boom. That's the video, for your podcast concept and theme. You do that. You share that. Reach out to the people on LinkedIn and ask them if they be open to the interview. The reason why I say make that video first is because they're going to ask you, well, what's the podcast about? Who's been on the podcast? They're going to ask you a bunch of these questions. You just send them that link. Then you interview them. And then you share the interview on LinkedIn and tag them. And then you circle back and ask them if they be open to working with you. This is also how this is different than the okie doke that some people play. Some people create a podcast and they invite the people that they want to work with on, and they only do it to qualify them. They don't really do it to get any content and to be a resource. So I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm advising you to do is that you legitimately create a podcast, create a YouTube show, create something that can be a resource to the people that can pay you. You provide them service by interviewing them. You share the interview. Then after you share the interview, you circle back and say, hey, we had a great time interviewing, had some great thoughts. I had an idea that I wanted to share with you. Hopefully, could we schedule some time to talk? That's what you do. You wash, rinse, repeat. How does that monetize? It monetizes because if you interview 20 people, odds are, and you do a good job and you share it and you do everything you're supposed to do, odds are you can circle back to about half of them and say, hey, can we have a call? That's 10 sales calls. And then out of those 10 sales calls, because you are an expert and you know what you want to sell, you close 5. You made money off of your podcast. And it's a revolving content wheel. So you're continually putting out content. Now, our team does this for you. This is what we do. This is a big thing of what we do. And so if you're interested in having this done for you, we can do it for you. If not, you can piecemeal it together all you want, but it's probably going to take a lot of time. It's going to be really tedious. So I suggest you hire somebody. If you don't hire us, hire somebody that understands fourth wall content. Hire somebody that understands how to reach out to people and do all of that stuff. So hopefully this was helpful. Marketing and branding is my jam. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. We also have our live event coming up in Dallas, Texas in 10 days, 8 days, 9 days, 9 days. Yeah, 9 days. A week from Friday, we're going to be in Dallas, October 4th through the 5th. If you're in or around the area, let me know. We have 3 complimentary tickets left. If you want to get on our wait list for our next event, then let me know that as well. But I'm Odell Bazell, and hey, see you at the top, not from the top. Take care, y'all. Bada bing, bada boom.